friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you are new here, and in this video I'm going to give you a little bit of a homeschooling update, and I'm really excited to talk about some changes that we're going to be making going into the new year. So in my November update, I talked about how I was going to be adding in Gather Round for December, and that I would give you an update at the end of that. And I kind of pivoted really hard. I don't remember if I mentioned this in one of my last videos or not, but I was going to do At the Pond for Gather Round because we've already done Burrows and Holes, and I have a friend who is also interested in doing Gather Round, and she had mentioned maybe that she was going to buy the Christmas one. So when she said that, I realized, oh, we'll just do that instead of At the Pond just for the month of December. And I also realized that I didn't really want to do much schooling in December. So when I planned the year, I planned to basically take December off. And then when I found out that my friend was getting the December or the Christmas Gather Round one, I thought, oh, that would be perfect to have. And then she actually ended up buying the Treehouse Schoolhouse Christmas program, and we only did a very little bit of that, but it was very fun, and we had a really restful break in December. It felt really nice to take some time off, and by the end of it we were just like really excited to get back into school, or at least I was. My son definitely enjoyed it, and he definitely had some more like bad behavior a little bit before it because I think he was just lacking the routine, and then once we've been back into schooling, his behavior has improved for sure. So anyway, all that to say, we did not actually do the At the Pond Gather Round curriculum just yet, but I am really hoping January is the month that we get to do it. If not, it will be February. I know I feel like I keep saying we're gonna do that, but I promise we're actually going to do it because I really am missing that. I think it will be really fun to add it in. But anyway, that was kind of long-winded. All that to say, we didn't do school in December. We did a few little lessons about Christmas around the world, and we learned about Mexico and Italy, and I don't think we actually ended up ever doing another one, which is kind of funny because there's like 20 countries, and that's besides the point. It was fun. We had a nice break, and now that we're getting back into school, I am really looking forward to adding some things in, because if you have noticed in a lot of my videos, I've been saying that I've been just having like a very like relaxed school year. We're kind of getting like the bare minimum done. We're making sure we're doing our language arts. Shane's practicing his reading. We're doing the math, but we're doing it even slower because we're ahead on that. And life has just felt a little bit, not chaotic, but just full, very, very full and busy. And so just keeping him at what he needs to get done has felt right and good. But something just like shifted inside of me as we like went into January, and I realized I want to like get back into doing more for homeschool. I think a lot of it actually had to do with watching Now That We're a Family's videos. I started following them, and I started like binge watching their videos. If you haven't seen their videos, you should definitely check them out because they are both from large families. So Katie is one of 11, I believe, and Elisha is one of 10, and they have 5 kids themselves, and they just have so much like wisdom and knowledge to share about like family rhythms, and they were both homeschooled, and so I have picked up a lot of like how to view home and homeschool and like in a much more positive light, and I don't feel as like burdened by them, or not that I wasn't wanting to do it, but it just felt like it was hard because of the toddler and the baby. And so just watching their videos really has like reinvigorated my desire to really like continue pressing in and doing more, and not just doing like the bare minimum anymore. So I'm gonna talk about what we're going to be doing. We actually have, I think it was this week we started, although last week I think I slowly started adding things in, so it wasn't just like a huge jump. Last week, even though it was still the end of December, I did a few days where my son was just practicing reading and not doing like any bookwork or anything. And then I also added in, and this is one of the things that I am adding in for the rest of the school year, is reading our Sonlight books. So I am super excited to add that back in because we were sort of getting into it. If you are new here, you might not know, but in my curriculum choices video, I shared that I was going to be doing Sunlight and Good and the Beautiful. Once we started out, I realized that I didn't really want to follow the schedule for Sunlight because they're just like very short books, and it's kind of hard to just read only like one story here or one story there. It's kind of easier to just read at your own pace because of the length of the books. I feel like if we continue doing Sunlight in the years to come, I will follow the like schedule and everything, but for the first 2 years, they're just for, I think, 3 to 4 year olds and 4 to 5 year olds. So they're mostly not chapter books. I think there's one chapter book, and it just, I don't know, it just wasn't working to follow the schedule. And so I decided we're just going to get all of the books and we're going to read them throughout the school year. And then after, I don't know, maybe August or September, I kind of, like I said, I was doing like the bare minimum and we weren't reading the books. And so I'm adding that back in. We started doing them last week and we've done some this week, and it honestly has just like, it's been so nice because one of the things that I picked up from Katie and Elisha is that they share their like routines, and they're a screen-free family, which is a really cool thing. We are definitely not screen-free, but it has really helped me cut back on screens, just the way that they do their routine. And it really like just opened my mind to the idea of like, you can read to your kids all day, sort of, not literally all day, but like, so for example, I feel like if I give you an example, it'd be easier to explain. But now we try to like get up, have breakfast, and then one of the things that they do is that Katie will read to them over breakfast. And the reason that she was doing this in this video, I don't know if it's a recent video or not, but she had like a young toddler, and she said it was really helpful to read during breakfast because her baby was contained in the high chair. And that just clicked for me because that was like one of our main struggles of trying to read, was that Melly, my 1-year-old, is just crawling all over us. Like, she'll be on my lap, she'll be ripping the book, like it. And I know I could probably train her to not do that, and I'm going to work on that, but it was just very overwhelming to try to get that done while a baby is crawling on you. And so now we do our Bible time during breakfast time. So I will try to eat and read, or I'll try to eat quickly and then read, but that has been really, really nice to like finally have that like in a regular routine, and we do it every day now. So anyway, we'll eat breakfast, we'll read during breakfast, and then the kids will go play, and I'll clean up breakfast and clean up the rest of the house, make my bed, start the laundry, that sort of thing, vacuum if I need to vacuum. And then at that point, we don't have it like into a super tight routine yet, but basically they'll either go play outside and get some outdoor time, which is more challenging this time of year because we live in the Northeast, so it's pretty cold. But I like, even if I have to bundle them all up, I think I said this in another video, and just get them outside, I've noticed it's helped with their moods so much because they're just like rambunctious boys that like to like wrestle and play, and they're not like that all day long, but they just get into these moods where they need to get some energy out. And so having them go outside and then come back in, and then that gives me a little bit of time also to finish cleaning or get into something else that I need to get done for the day. I mean, I still have my daughter with me, but nothing crazy, but that has really helped. So when they come in, then we try to do some book work. And something else I changed is that I no longer have Shane do his reading first, because I was doing that because I thought maybe if I got the reading done first, he would be most fresh, and that was the hardest thing for him. But he's not really struggling to read. Not that he was struggling before, but like it was more of a challenge before. And so now that it's not such a challenge, I have changed it, but that's been really nice. So we'll do just book work. We do the language arts book and math, not always right all at one time. And then I've also been sitting down with Riley more often, and I'll do either his little workbooks, or today we actually started this little all ready for preschool box. It has all different activities. I only just started today. Although I did buy this in the summer, like in preparation for this school year, because we were doing bare minimum, I didn't even open this really until today. And so Riley actually loved it. He just kept saying, "Thank you so much for buying this, Mommy." and it was so sweet. And so I'm gonna get into more of that. I'll probably film like homeschool with me and my 3-year-old once we have it down into more of a routine. So if you think that would be interesting, let me know. So anyway, we'll do a little bit of book work, like I said, and if they like start getting like they're overwhelmed because we've been sitting too long or something, I'll break again and then let them go and play for a bit. And they're usually pretty happy to play because they've gotten outside time, they've gotten some time to sit down with me, and so they'll go play for a little bit. And then I will usually have my daughter go down for a nap around this time too, so that the next time we have to sit down, we can be a bit more uninterrupted, because sometimes she can be a little bit distracting. So then we'll be done with book work, whether it takes 1 or 2 times to like sit down and actually do the work. We will usually do lunch, and then after lunch, I'll have my 3-year-old sit with me on the couch, and I'll have my 5-year-old go and play for a little bit, and I will allow him 15 minutes to just sit with me, and I'll just read to him whatever books he wants me to read so that he has a little bit of like one-on-one time with me. Because after we're done with that, I will sit with my 5-year-old and we do his 10 minutes of reading for him reading to me, and then I let him also pick 1 book for me to read to him. I'm hoping to get more chapter books to work on with him because we finished The Wild Robot, I think a couple weeks ago now, and he loved that. He was really sad for it to be over, and I think like we'll definitely be reading that series again because we loved it so much. And then so that's it. That's what we do for the day. I also got the little like sitting on the couch and reading time, sort of like during quiet time from Katie. I thought that was really like fun, and it switched things up where we're not like sitting at the table as much, so we can like do the reading on the couch because we don't actually need to be sitting at a table, and we've really enjoyed that so far. So now I'm going to talk about what we are adding in. Obviously the first one is adding Sonlight books in. I pulled a few right here to show you which ones we have read from, and I'll tell you a little bit about them and which ones have been my son's favorites so far. So we have the Children's Book of Virtues. This one, I wouldn't say is a favorite. I think I like it because it has a lot of stories where they're like learning character traits, which is really awesome. And the way that I'm doing these Sonlight books is basically like we have 5 or 6 that we're reading through at a time. And since they're just like short stories, you don't have to like only read through 1 at a time. You could do a bunch of different ones, especially because they're different subjects. So I just put like a post-it, and then we just read 1 or 2 depending on how much time we have. And then we have the Bernstein Bears Big Book of Science and Nature. This one is for sure a favorite of my son's. We're like halfway done with this one already because they just love this one. We'll probably end up reading it a couple times because they love it. And then we have Uncle Wiggily's Storybook. This one's not as much of a favorite, but they think the stories are funny, so I don't really know why they tell me it's not their favorite, because they are very funny stories. Then we have Stories from Around the World. My older son really likes these stories. And then we have Look Inside Your Body. This is an Usborne book with 100 flaps. This one I really enjoy. I think my boys do too. It doesn't have too many pages. We're only on the 3rd page. I think there's only like 3 left, but it's very like informative. It teaches them a lot, and so maybe we'll read this one a couple times too if they want to, because this one's really awesome. And actually, when I was talking about the routine, I did forget to mention that we read these books also. I try to read them during lunchtime if my daughter is still awake, or after we do book work. I forgot if I'll let them play a little bit or I will sit down and read these books with them. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier with saying how I learned that you kind of just read to your kids all day. Like if they feel restless, if they've been playing for a while on their own and they're getting bored, I used to kind of feel like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I entertain them? And I'm not like the type of parent who feels like I have to entertain them, but obviously if it's been a while that they've been playing alone, they just tend to argue a lot more. And so I feel like, you know, I want to spend time with them. It's obviously my job to spend time with them too. And a good way of doing that has just been reading, because we all enjoy it and it's been really nice. So something else that we added in also is handwriting. I intended to buy the Good and the Beautiful handwriting books because we had the pre-writing book for Shane last year and I enjoyed it. He liked it. And I intended to buy the kindergarten one, and then I wanted to get the pre-writing one for Riley for this year, because Riley he's only 3.5, but he's actually really good at tracing. which is really not surprising to me because my husband is a welder and he said you need very good fine motor skills, and his dad was a welder as well, and so it makes sense that they would have good fine motor skills, I suppose. But I went to order them one day and I remember like they were just kind of expensive with the shipping. I think the shipping is what got me. It was like the shipping was like $10 or something, and the books were maybe $10 or $15, and so it just added up to a lot more money than I was like, I don't feel like I need to be spending this much money on handwriting. So instead, I knew that they had like ones that you could just print out, and so I actually had them saved, and I found these ones, which are just like perfect for my son. I tried these actually out. They're free. You could just download each letter. I tried these out, I think last year, and they were just too much for him. Like he wasn't ready to trace this much. Not that it's, I don't know, it's not that much, but he was not into coloring. He just really wasn't into it, so I didn't continue it with him. He liked the pre-writing one last year, but now this year he loves coloring. It's really cool because they have to like find the letters, they have to trace them, and then they even have these like squigglies where they trace. So he's done A and B so far, and I'm just going to keep printing new ones every day, and they're free. So I figured that's what we'll do for handwriting for the rest of the year. Although I am a little bit sad to miss out on the Good and the Beautiful because I've heard they're really good, and we did enjoy the pre-writing ones, but I don't know, maybe next year I'll have him do the kindergarten or something, and then first grade or something like that. So another thing that I wanted to update you guys on is that for the Bible lessons that we're doing, we were just reading the Sonlight Tea program book, like just kind of as I kind of remembered. We would just sit down, usually after breakfast or during breakfast, I would just read a story out of there, but I wasn't very consistent with it because there wasn't really anything holding me to it. And then this year, starting in January, my husband and I are actually, I have the book here, so I'll just show it to you, but my husband and I are actually going to be doing the Bible recap, and so we're doing this ourselves. It's just reading through the Bible in a year, and it's chronological, and then you have just one page out of here to just read, or she has a podcast or a YouTube channel, you could do it like that. And so I saw on Instagram actually on January 1st, someone that I follow, so that they're doing the Bible recap with their kids, that they were coming out with like a kids devotional, and you could pre-order it that day, and then you could get the first 45 days sent to your inbox. And so we've been doing that over breakfast, and that has really helped because it's holding me accountable. I don't know that we'll do every single day because there are obviously more mature topics in the Bible that I'm not sure my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old are quite ready for yet, and we don't typically sit down and do, although obviously we do sit down and eat breakfast every day, so I guess we could try to do it every day. We'll see. I mean, it is made for kids, so maybe I will feel comfortable just like sharing what they've shared about it. We'll see. I can update you guys on that, but I'm really excited about that. I don't read them just like out of my Bible. I either read one of their many Bibles that we have. Like I just look at the stories. I've already read it before they've woken up, so I know what stories we're on. And then if any of their kids' Bibles has that story, I'll just read that. And so I think there's going to be some like coming up because we just got into Job. Most of the kids' Bibles don't have Job. I do have a Bible story app on my phone that I just downloaded. I can actually share that with you too. It's just called Bible Stories for Kids. And it is actually like $3 a month or $6 a month or something like that. But that one had Job on it. So I'm just going to bounce around and see where the story is located in any of them. Maybe like the kids Bible recap does have actually just like a recap of what happened. So if I can't find an actual kids Bible that has the story in it, I'll just read to them the recap and then what we learned about God. And yeah, I think that will be really fun. It'll have something that like I can do with them essentially, kind of, because I'm already reading it earlier in the day. My husband will be reading the same thing, and it will hold me accountable to do more because I feel like I was slacking with that. I actually thought I had more, but that was actually the last thing that I really wanted to update you guys on, to show that we are adding in. I'm really excited, like I said, to add these things in. I'm really excited to like put more of an effort into homeschooling. Not that I wasn't before, but hopefully you know what I mean. Just being a bit more intentional. We are still going to be doing science. I've been really like slacking with that as well, but I want to try to like pick that back up and do more lessons on that. But definitely check out Katie and Elisha's videos because they really are what kind of like helped me see that I can do this even in like harder seasons. It just kind of like shifted my perspective, and I'm really thankful for it because we've been really having fun. So actually one thing I did forget to mention too is that I'm actually trying to get outside more with the kids. I should have mentioned that earlier when I was talking about routine and everything, but I tried to go outside with them, or we did go outside today. Actually, I don't know why I said tried. I had to get all of their winter stuff, you know, ready and brought it out to the car. I had to start the car because you can't really keep all their like winter coats on with their car seats. And we bundled up. We got our, you know, hats, our gloves, our big warm coats on, and we were gonna go for a walk around the lake where we live. And then we made it like almost halfway, and it was so cold. Like our faces were cold. It was the only part of our body that was not covered, and it was just so cold. And so we went back and we went to the playground, and the kids played for a bit. And we were out for maybe 45 minutes. And normally I would not have like attempted to do that because I would think it's almost like a waste of time because it's like so much preparation to go out for only 45 minutes or a half an hour or something. But what I haven't really realized is that it's worth it so much for your mentality and for like your mental health and for the kids, because it just feels so good to just get out, even if it's for a very short amount of time because you can't handle it longer. So that is my encouragement to you if it's possible for you to get out. I want to get them like bigger snowsuits where like the like top part connects to the bottom part and then just like zips up. So I think those would be even warmer. But yeah, I'm not going to babble on anymore. Hopefully something I said was helpful or encouraging to you. Oh, actually one last thing. I just said I wasn't going to babble on anymore, but one more thing is that I think I might film a goals video potentially that doesn't really have to do with homeschooling. It's just like my goals for the year, but I probably will only do that if, you know, you guys think that would be something that you would want to watch. So let me know if that would be interesting to you. I do sort of want to like add in a little bit of more lifestyle content, maybe here and there, but we will see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.